Yes, we will dive into another, maybe boring, but essential topic about defining a word. And now, the word is going to be logic, and I'm gonna be talking 20 minutes about what logic is, you can read it in Wikipedia and try to understand what it tries to write and explain to you what logic is. But I'll be explaining it in such detail, maybe you'll understand a little bit better. Because I'll try to create the image of logic instead of trying to describe it to you. Because words are created, right? Words have certain meanings that we added meaning into words, basically. And I suggest you to talk, in more meaningful words rather than just describing a subjective opinion, more likely to express what you actually see, what is real, what is evidential, what is reasonable. You'll get into these words later on, but first we have to understand what logic is. So, we'll start with the word log. It seems, not so referable or has little in common with logic. Well, what is a log? It's something that you write, right? It's something written. Lots of words that describe certain things, and those things, I would say, these are objective events. You don't say, well, I like this thing or something that happened. You don't give your opinion whether you liked or how you felt, but you're basically describing something that happened. So in games, at least, that's where the most log thing happens. You just see the descriptions fill up of what events happened. They don't tell you what you've said, how you reacted. It's just how you completed a quest or what happened in the quest or something like that. So that's what log is. It's objective information. Alright, so logic also deals with lots of objective information. How does that deal with that? Well, before we dive into logic again, there's another word, logical. A little bit more of logical, right? So, it's the use of logic, which can be logical or not logical. So let's say there are choices of how to make something happen. As I mentioned in the very first video in introduction, that you can write something down in two different ways now. You can write something down on paper, you can write something down on a computer, maybe you can even use a typewriter or whatnot, some old technology to write something down. But basically you have a few choices, and the most logical choice would be to use a computer, right? Because you can share it, you can copy it, you can print it out, you can do a lot with it, with this technology. So it would be more logical to use the best choice. This is applied to everything, not just, writing. It's more logical to use the best choice, the choice that will give you most value over less resources. Can I think of any other example? Making games, for me, it's a great example. How you could have made only board games or card games or whatever, and now you can make some actual games that you can even put in your pocket. So it's more efficient, you can just take it out whenever you go, just play the game, experience in your pocket. Yes. It always follows you. Whenever you want, you just tune in. So that's the way you make games, you use programming instead of some kind of sheets of rules describing, how to actually play the game. You apply those rules into programming. Players cannot really break them unless they found bugs or the ways to exploit the game. So that's that. I guess that's enough for examples to understand how logical works, not means. But yeah. But of course, the meaning of logical is important. That's what I'm trying to describe. So you presented with the choice how to solve something, how to do something, and the most logical choice. Other choices are less logical. Some of them are even illogical. Let's say a choice to wear makeup or whatever. If they don't produce any kind of value, or you would say some meaningful words that you don't even understand yourself, some meaningful phrases, you have to put a lot of meaning into your words. That's what I said in the beginning. So if you don't put a lot of meaning, or it does not have a lot of meaning, it does not produce the value, but you spend a lot of time like being lazy or watching 9gag stuff, or watching even any kind of anime or those, how do they call even? Walking Dead. What is this? It's a season of something. Oh my god. It's a series, yes, but what is that? Okay. Watching series, I guess. I really thought there was gonna be a better. But let's say you watch a movie. It's much more understandable, much more obvious. Example, you watch the movie and maybe the movie is so freaking meaningful, it has so much meaning inside of it, so many details and everything you can pick out, but you just don't see the meaning, you just don't care, and you say, I will not watch the movie twice, it doesn't matter to me, I'll just, okay, that's what I saw and I'm good with the movie. But what's the point of watching the movie if you don't want to get the meaning, if you don't try to get the meaning? And you can find the meaning by actually combining things together, finding the relations between things. So if the apple falls down, okay, does that mean other things will fall down as well? Or is just an apple that falls down? We find those relations and we find that, there's gravity or something. So that is very important. Logical also is, I have tended to go into the gravity of the laws of the universe and everything. That's what actually logic is, right? Because logic is dealing with those forces. Logic is dealing with the way that the world works. If we see illogical stuff happening in the game, then we say, well, that's probably a glitch, right? So the same thing we can say about the world, except world does not, or real life, whatever you call it, does not have glitches. So everything is reasonable, sort of, everything is reality, everything was intended to do, because there's not going to be a patch anytime soon to fix anything. So we will have this way of the universe, that the way the universe works right now for forever, I guess. I'm not sure if there's gonna be a singularity and everything will change afterwards, but for now it seems to be that one of the laws of the universe is that universe is the way it is and it won't change anytime soon. So that's what we can actually learn. That's where the knowledge comes from. We can learn how and what kind of results we're gonna get from certain actions. So we release an apple up higher than the usual, the floor. We pick up and release the apple will fall down. If it has anything, it's basically, if it can fall, it will fall because it's gravity. We have the law. We know what's going on. But that's what logic is. You know what's gonna happen before it even happens. Holy shit! Logic can predict stuff. All right. So yeah, there is a certain thing we can say. The extra senses, those people with magical powers who can predict the future and whatnot, whether they use something more than logic or not. Like, that's a real good question, isn't it? Can they really see something more than just use logic? Well, yeah, that's a very interesting topic, and I have not much opinion. It seems like there's something more than just logic that you can use to predict what's gonna be the outcome, but that's what I want to understand first before we can actually go into some more mysterious things happening or whatnot. Or maybe it's not mysterious at all. If somebody can do it, you must be able to do it yourself, right? There has to be that skill that is allowing you to do it. Like, we all know that magicians have just a skill, some kind of skill. They don't really do any kind of what we would call actually magic that would not be a part of the universe, or will be completely not the way that the universe works. It would look like that, but it's not. It's like hiding away the way that the apple falls down, and you see, whoa, an apple have teleported from this place to the other place. Holy shit, I didn't even. Or maybe you just haven't noticed how the apple was falling, or it was hidden somehow. So all these things, can be trickery and may influence our logic quite well. Like, oh, there's actually no logic if the apple can fall down, so there's no knowledge either that we can actually gain from this, as there's no consistency within the universe. So in that case, there wouldn't be any type of energy called thinking. I say it's an energy because it's very different, from anything else. Like, there's a physical energy, there is some kind of character energy that you want to express yourself and to gain skills or mimic others. I'll go into better detail into my, system of thinking. It's pretty complex now that I've been evolving it for a couple of years now. So, to make a conclusion, now we're gonna wait. We already been in logic. We already tried to explain what logic is. So, let's see how it goes with the math. There's logic in math, right? So 2 plus 2 equals 4. It's logical because it's always like that. It's consistent. We can understand why it is like that. It's logical. So logic deals with objective information. Not only we understand, we see, we pick up with the senses, we understand, we can describe things as how they are, and to describe things to somebody else, they will understand the same thing. That's how objective stuff works. Whatever you see, you are able to explain it to somebody else and they will understand. Just like math, you find a solution to a certain problem, you can explain it to whoever else who understands the language of math. So yes, that's how the math works. That's more or less how philosophy works as well. If you find a solution to a certain problem, one of the most important parts that involve logic is asking questions, right? Because finding the solution is also the part, but there has to be questions, and philosophy is very good at asking questions so that you wouldn't be able to really find a solution. You would you're constantly trying to find the truth. You're gonna get closer and closer if you really try, but you will never actually find out what really truth is. How does that work? It's not objective at all, right? Well, god damn it. I haven't prepared for this. Okay, let's ask ourselves, what's the meaning of life? So, how far we can go with this question? The meaning of life is, well, the meaning that you give. Because the meaning is not really given to you. The answer is not given to you, so you can, for now, only imagine what the answer could be. There's no objective information that is coming to you to answer this question, really. You're born with no real information given to you before you gonna be born. Maybe after death you're gonna go to somewhere, but we are not sure. Nobody went back and said us anything about the meaning. So for now, all that we can do is just try to live a long and happy life, right? To try to thrive for more happiness, to help others, help ourselves, whatever that will make us improve and prepare for any kind of problems that we could dive ahead. So that would be the most logical way, you know. We can make a few choices of what the meaning of life is, and we can try to go forward that actual truth, because what we prefer to be the meaning of life usually kind of is. So, is there anything else for me to ask, to find something? What are those? Let's Google what is the most philosophical questions. Not quotes, questions, please. And I'll try to answer another one question, and I hope there would be a bright picture what logic is. Logic is basic objective information. So it has to be meaningful, it has to have a reason. As I said in the Mr. Epstein's video, if somebody says you're dumb, they have to have a freaking reason to say that. Otherwise, their reason to say that is because they are dumb or something. You know, if they don't give a reason, there is something more about them inside their reasoning, you know, for them to try to apply something on you. There has to be a reason about them that they don't want to even describe. Just, you're dumb, you know. They would not want to go to any arguments because they would lose, right? Probably because, you know, they wouldn't give an objective argument. Anyways, so let's see. 8 great philosophical questions, and I will only take one. Oh, well, why is there something rather than nothing? Well, that's insane question to ask for. Why? Well, it is how it is. I just can't ask that, because it's not about reality. It doesn't tell anything about reality. Well, but you can say, you know, I have created a God that created, you know, I created a vision of the God that created us as a programmer creates games. That's how easy it sounds. Is our universe real? Well, that's also not a question that we should ask even. Do we have free will? Does God exist? Is there life after death? Can you really experience anything objectively? Well, again, does knowledge exist? That's also, you know, the question. Because if you can't, there's no knowledge, but it's really not a question that I would ask, because that would not help to deal with the real world as we experienced it so far. No matter it exists or not, for now, it existed pretty constantly, consistently as well for at least 20 years that I've been alive, so I'm happy about that. And it seems there's a history of history actually existing, so I don't care about whether it's not real or whether there's no objective information that we can get. It's more logical to think that, well, what's consistent, it's supposed to be real. Like, the game is real if it's consistent, right? If wait, can I find a counter argument? let's just forget this because I don't have time at all. What are numbers? Well, god damn it, I cannot really find a question that I wouldn't pick on the question itself, because yeah, you kind of can pick on the question itself and say, there's no meaning in asking this question. There's no logic in asking this question. What the fuck? So yeah, you kind of have to say, yeah, logic is basically actual meaning. And it's so meaningful to have a meaningful word logic that it's so paradoxical. I can't even explain it to you. Anyways, I hope this video was interesting at least. I sure did pause a few times to look into some things, but hey, I'm not cutting the video, or maybe not even doing any more takes, as I'm trying to be the most positive guy ever. I don't know how that works. We'll see in the likes and dislikes ratio. That will give me a lot of dislikes because I said so, you know? Troll's gonna troll. Anyways, see you guys on the next video. How do I end the video, right? I'll just end it.